Brace yourselves, my friends. In just a few hours, those massive 104% tariffs on China are taking effect. That is going to impact so much of your budget and your wallet, it's hard to even quantify. The White House confirmed it's all going down at midnight tonight, and the president is not backing down. Guess what? China is also not backing down, and just wait till you hear what they had to say about all this. Now, before I tell you all about that, let's look at the stock market today. Earlier in the day today, the Dow was up like 1,000 points. Those gains came on the news that President Trump had been open to negotiating on his tariffs and that the White House was working with some countries to reduce those so-called kind reciprocal tariffs that take effect on tons of countries at midnight tonight. The White House claims at least 50 countries have called to make a deal. But the fact is, so far, no deals have actually been done. Nothing has been announced. And by the end of the trading day today, when investors started to realize that all these tariffs the president outlined last week would actually take effect at midnight, the market plummeted. And here's the real problem. The only trade deal that really matters right now is the one with China. Why? Because China is being hit with the highest tariffs, 104%, and because China is one of the United States' top 3 trading partners. And the fact is, China has no desire to cave, no desire to negotiate, and no desire to play President Trump's game. Don't take it from me, take it from them. Yesterday, the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson said, China is not a seeker of trouble, but make no mistake, when challenged, we will never back down. Intimidation and threats never work with China. Another one, if the United States disregards the interests of both nations and the international community by persisting with tariff wars and trade wars, China will have no choice but to fight to the end. Speaking of international communities, look what else the Chinese embassy to the United States posted today. Whoop! Who's that? That's the Chinese premier with the commissioner of the European Union. Trump hit the EU with 20% tariffs. So China said in this post from today that China is ready to work with the European side to promote the sound and steady development of China-EU relations. So why does that matter? Because if the United States is running around slapping tariffs at all these countries that have goods to trade, it opens up this big wide lane for China to swoop in and say, hey, you don't have to trade with the United States. You can improve your trading with us. We have a huge market for you. And I think since the EU is a particularly close ally of the United States, this image posted today was really meant to drive home the point that China doesn't care. And they'll just go around the United States and Trump's trade policy. Now, the EU has said that they are willing to negotiate with President Trump over those tariffs, but a deal between our country and the bloc is not done yet. Speaking of American allies and one of the other top 3 trading partners of the United States, today Canada announced that their retaliatory tariffs against the United States of 25% on all U.S. autos being imported into their country will take effect at midnight tonight. And on Thursday, China's 34% retaliatory tariffs on United States imports into China take effect. The president has said repeatedly that his tariff plan is being done for a reason. He says the United States has been taken advantage of by all these countries for years, and he is just trying to reset the global trade table to bring manufacturing back to the United States. But importantly, he also admits that his trade plan is going to result in at least some short-term pain to all of our wallets, savings accounts, 401ks, buying power, and possibly could result in job loss. But Trump says you need to hang with him because in the end, it's all going to be worth it. So the question is, what does Trump consider short term? Well, when asked, he has said everything from a few months to 2 years. Now let's talk about that short-term pain starting at midnight because of those 104% tariffs on Chinese imports. The reality is some businesses have been stockpiling Chinese imports because they knew this was coming. So at least initially for some things, not all, but some, you may not see huge increases right off the bat. But the longer this trade war with China goes on and that stockpile dwindles down, you absolutely will see these increases on what you pay for those goods. And don't forget about all those other reciprocal tariffs on all those other countries that will take effect tonight at midnight too, on things like fruits and vegetables. Those perishable items cannot be stockpiled, so they will be hit with those tariffs immediately. And I've reported this before, but it's worth saying again because I keep seeing people say, just buy American. You have to understand, just because something says made in America does not mean that it is immune from these tariffs. The law that governs the Made in America label says you can absolutely use imported materials and components for your item and still call it Made in America as long as the majority of it is made here. So again, if you think buying American will save you from these tariffs, in a lot of cases, you're mistaken.